I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them good for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, tides of white, bright blessed days, dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends saying in hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I heard a baby cry. I watch them grow. They'll know much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. Well, good morning. Today is Founders Day. Welcome to Founders Day. We are 22 years young. Isn't that wonderful? And we have our founding minister with us, so that makes it even more special. So my name is Regina Kilmartin, and I will be your worship associate today. We had a very nice young speaker last week, Crystal Dawn Siscon. She's a community advocate, and she never spoke in front of crowds before like this. And when she started, she said, I'm really a lot younger than I look. I just had my hair done. And I just wanted, she said, I'm a lot older than I look. I just had my hair done. And I want to tell you, I'm a lot younger than I look because my hairdresser canceled on me yesterday. So, funny how that works out. Anyway, I'm glad you could be with us today on our Founders Day, old and new. Welcome. Here you will find a diverse and inclusive spiritual community where we welcome people with many beliefs. You can bring your whole self, your full identity, your questioning mind, and your expansive heart. No matter who you are or where you come from or where you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here at All Faiths. Do we happen to have any first-time visitors? Oh, welcome. We would like to invite everyone to stay after the service for our cookout. I'd like to thank Rachel Spiller and her family and her crew of volunteers for setting up and organizing this year's Founders Day. It was very helpful, and the food's going to be yummy. We have vegetarian and non-vegetarian, so we hope you can all stay and join us for that. I do have a few announcements to make. Monday at noon is going to be the book club. Tuesday at 10 a.m. is the Karen support team will be meeting. Wednesday at 1 p.m. will be our board meeting. Thursday at 2, every Thursday at 2 is choir rehearsal. Every Friday at 2 is dominoes. And then on Sundays at 9:15, we have News Talk with Ray Ellis. And on Sundays with Kathy Fanny, we have our Child and Youth program. Happening in March, we're bringing back the 10 o'clock scholar, yay, on Wednesday mornings. And Susan Meisner will be facilitating the 10 o'clock scholar, and the title is Hard Choices for Loving People. And it's a 5-part program, and you can see it's posted on the bulletin board in the back. Everything is posted on the bulletin board in the back, so please be sure to go by and read that. Also coming up in March, towards the end of March, we're going to have a new social group, dinner group that's strictly for social purposes, and there's a sign-up sheet. It's going to be organized by John Fisher. And we also have coming up as a fundraiser the play Bad Girls of the Bible. And Lisa Lenhart stars in it. It will be on March 11th at 2 o'clock, and it will be a fundraiser for all faiths. And speaking of fundraisers for all faiths, our stewardship campaign did end. We didn't quite get to our goal. We understand we're all doing the best we can. I do appreciate the procrastinators, though, because I saw a lot of people filling out pledge cards this morning. So even though you're late, we welcome your pledges, and we're not going to worry about that today. Today we're going to celebrate and have fun. So now, if you would mind, please rise and body your spirit as we sing hymn number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the songs. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
And at this time, I'd like to ask Bob DeGalbo to please come and light our chalice. As Bob lights the chalice, would you please repeat the words that are in your order of service? As we light our chalice, let us appreciate our founding minister, Reverend Wayne Robinson, and all the founders who created all faiths. And now, if you would remain seated as we sing Go Now in Peace, the children will join Kathy Fanny in the Robinson Room.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you go.
This morning, I'm lighting a candle of sorrow for the loss of the baby Quillen, daughter of Jennifer Nicole Quillen. As many of you know, Quillen suffered from a serious neurological defect from birth, and she passed away this past week. So please hold them in your thoughts and prayers. I'm going to light candles for you today for the joys and sorrows that you have in your hearts. I'm lighting a candle of appreciation for Reverend Wayne Robinson, who took the initiative to found All Faith. We're so grateful to you, Wayne. And I'm lighting this candle of gratitude for all of the founders who participated in starting this wonderful organization. And this candle I'm lighting for all of you who have joys and sorrows in your hearts, and ask that you reach out to those who cannot be with us today, so that everyone knows that they are not alone in this world.
And now I'd like everyone to close their eyes, take a deep breath, center yourselves, and let us turn our hearts and our minds to today's service. Now, if you would please rise and body your spirit as we sing hymn number 123. The words are printed on the back of your order of service.
At All Faith and in our lives, all of our experiences and relationships become a part of us, like our association with Reverend Wayne Robinson. So I selected a few words that struck me as appropriate. I am pieces of all the places I have been and the people I have loved. I have been stitched together by song lyrics, book quotes, adventure, conversations, sunlight, moonlight, and the smell of coffee. And now up where we belong with Joan Marshall.
the clear winds blow. Some hang on to used to be, live their lives looking around. All we have is here and now. All our life out there to find. The road is long. There are mountains in our way, but we climb the steps every day. Love lifts us up where we belong, where the eagles cry on a mountain high. Love lifts us up where we belong, far from the world we know, where the clear winds blow. Time goes by, no time to cry. Life's you and I, alive today. Love lifts us up where we belong, where the eagles cry on a mountain high. Love lifts us up where we belong, far from the world we know, where the clear winds blow. Love lifts us up where we belong, where the eagles cry on a mountain high. Love lifts us up where we belong, far from the world we know, where the clear winds blow.
Reverend Dr. Jackie Lewis writes about the ways both prophetic and personal. Is it on? Can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Reverend Dr. Jackie Lewis writes about the ways both prophetic and personal truth-telling challenge us and the systems to which we belong. Love speaks the truth. In my faith tradition, we call that speaking the truth in love. As a clergy person, I have many truth-telling strategies. Sometimes I'm gentle, needing to take good care of the one who is listening. Sometimes I've got my fists in the air while marching for the truth, for justice, and for liberation. Always my intention is to free up the energy that's caught in the story, to liberate myself and the others with whom I'm in relationship with, to find a way forward. Can we win this action? Will the politician change policy or give in to demands? Will the congregant or colleague hear my point of view, and will I hear theirs? Can I change the story in the public square in a compelling way and open eyes, hearts, and minds to new worldviews? Telling the truth is an act of love, an act of resistance, an act of courage. Its end is liberation, freedom, and if possible, reconciliation. But there can be no reconciliation without truth. The historian Howard Zinn wrote, "The most revolutionary act one can engage in is to tell the truth indeed. I think the revolutionary part of truth is that it can free us and those around us to live with greater certainty and with what is real, even when it hurts, because we are no longer shackled to the energy lying requires of us. Lying demands the continuation of the lie and the amplification of the lie to keep the truth hidden. Telling the truth creates ripples of authenticity that change the world. I believe truth is revolutionary. It's part of the work of fierce love. Truth makes a personal, spiritual, ethical, and moral demand upon us. It wants to be said, known, told. It hurts and it's inconvenient, but it's essential to our well-being. It lubricates relationships. It liberates us from bondage. It builds trust and connections. It's the beginning of authentic living and joy. Truth invites us to be honest about who we are, about our flawed but beautiful, broken but healing selves. Truth leads to reconciliation and peace. Without truth, there is no peace. In the light of truth, we are able to honor our journey and loved ones, and love ourselves. Truth-telling is a spiritual discipline that requires practice. We must not lie to others, and as Fyodor Dostoevsky suggested, we mustn't lie to ourselves. And now, if you would please rise and body your spirit as we sing hymn number 6. The words are printed on the back of your order of service.
Just as I am, I have breath. I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream, in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love.
When I was planning this morning's service, I selected that hymn because I believe nobody represented those words more than our founding minister, Wayne Robinson, who always said yes to truth, he said yes to love, and he said yes to life. I think he has a record for stents and surgeries. So today is a special day for celebration and joy. 22 years ago, on February 19th, 2001, something miraculous emerged here in beautiful Southwest Florida. 98 of us met with Reverend Dr. Wayne Robinson to consider the possibility of forming a new congregation, and 25 of us are still alive and members of all faiths. So will those of you who were founding members Please rise as you are able to be recognized and appreciated, or you can wave your hands. Thank you for taking that bold and brave move. In 2000, we had been present at the heartbreaking session at UUCFM, where a vote was held about retaining the services of Reverend Robinson. There were many speakers who either supported or opposed him. I often said that Wayne Robinson reminded me of some Old Testament prophets, promoting justice and speaking truth to power. Throughout the ages, we know prophets have been abused and rejected. Now, my late husband, Hanif Ramay, who had been a political leader in Pakistan, said he had had chairs and tomatoes thrown at him, but never had he heard such vicious remarks as some of those made by some of the people who wanted to dismiss Reverend Robinson. And when I first took my husband, who was Muslim, to hear Wayne Robinson, he said, "Now I can live here." His idea of America, before I had known him, he had lived in San Francisco, and Southwest Florida was not San Francisco. But Wayne Robinson made it possible for my husband to feel at home here. Although a majority of the members did vote to retain Reverend Robinson, the margin was small, and the presiding UUA representative recommended it was not a sustainable situation for him to remain. So Wayne resigned and went into exile. He took an interim minister's position at a UU congregation in Michigan for a year. The first of our UUA sources reads, "The direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life." Now, while Wayne was in Michigan, I believe he had one of those direct experiences. While he was there, I am sure that he heard the call, "Go back to Fort Myers and rebuild my church." Some would claim it was his desire to prove that he was still wanted that motivated him. And those of us from the north could easily understand that might have been the Michigan winter that elicited that call to return to sunny Florida. However, I firmly believe it was a blessed call from the Spirit of life, like the one that St. Francis of Assisi heard, "Rebuild my church." Pardon me if I get so choked up, but I really believe this. I think it was a profound, direct experience between Wayne and his cited the mystery before which we all stand. So on February 19th in 2001, 98 of us responded to the call to meet with Wayne to plan for the future. There was a tremendous surge of enthusiasm and what I can only call spiritual joy as we discussed all the possibilities. We recognized this was a unique opportunity to create something that is much needed, particularly here in Florida, a congregation of inclusive and loving people who would devote themselves to supporting each other and making this a better world in whatever way that we could. Now, together, we chose our name, All Faiths, because we acknowledged we can receive spiritual insights and enlightenment from the many traditions recognized in the UUA sources. For example, wisdom from the world's religions, which inspire us in our ethical and spiritual life. We chose to be radically inclusive, embracing wisdom and inspiration that can be found in diverse religions and philosophies. Our founders included people from Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, pagan, and humanist traditions. We chose to identify ourselves as Unitarian, although we knew that the Unitarian Universalist Association might not initially accept us, but eventually they did. We chose congregation rather than church because the word church is generally associated only with Christianity. And so it was a unanimous decision to become all faiths Unitarian congregation. And we decided to meet once a month initially, do our planning and organization when Wayne could join us while he fulfilled his one-year contract in Michigan. Another of the UUA sources reads, "The words and deeds of prophetic people which challenge us to confront powers and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transforming power of love." As I mentioned earlier, I have often called Wayne Robinson our modern-day prophet. He led us through difficult times, pursuing truth and justice without a home of our own. Rabbi Diamond, our good friend, initially allowed us to hold our monthly meetings from March through August at Temple Bethel. Our original board meetings were held at my dining room table. For a time, we were like nomads, wandering from place to place, a little like Moses and the Israelites. In the fall, we rented space at Dunbar Middle School to begin our weekly services. And our first open service was held on the Sunday after 9/11, when the attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. We had publicized that we were creating an interfaith type religious group, which appealed to some new people who came and joined us that day. Those were challenging times in America, when there was a high degree of paranoia and Islamophobia. We offered an alternative of love, trust, and inclusiveness. We soon rented offices at the Alliance for the Arts and then arranged to use their theater on Sunday mornings. It was a perfect location for many of us to stand at the corner of McGregor and Colonial Boulevard with our signs opposing entry into the war in Iraq. Right from the start, we were visible and actively standing for peace. In 2006, we had to leave the Alliance and Theater and rented space at Cresswell School for our Sunday services. Then we struggled through the hard times of 2008 and 2009 recession, when we had to cut back on our expenses. But in 2010, we located this building on McGregor Boulevard, and our people generously contributed the extra funds to make the purchase. The prior owners asked that we preserve the memorial garden with the statue of St. Francis, and we agreed. Now, I could not help but think how appropriate it was to have St. Francis there, since Wayne Robinson resembled him in many ways. Here indeed was a contemporary challenge to rebuild and create something better than what had been before. Like St. Francis, we made physical repairs to the building. But like him, we also recognize that our mission was much broader than that. We were called to create a family. Later we'll be singing We Are a Family, of people with diverse beliefs, talents, and viewpoints who could listen to and learn from each other. We could become a model for inclusiveness and love in action by caring for ourselves and others. Then Wayne gave a sermon called We Are Each Other's Keepers. One of our members was so moved by that message that he donated $10,000 for us to conduct a competition of artists to create an artwork for the front of the sanctuary. 3 finalists presented their draft concepts, and the congregation voted for this magnificent glass sculpture that was created by Susan Gott, a Florida artist. And you'll notice all the people holding hands. And the unity of the figure, we are each other's keepers. And that design has also been reflected in our logo. Consistent with this theme, we developed many social action teams who devote their faith, energy, and love in action. Many of our people through the years have been responding to the call for love and action to alleviate the pain and suffering of the world and to provide uplift to those in need. This is what building a church is all about. And it all started and inspired by our beloved founding minister, Reverend Dr. Wayne Robinson. Now, it was particularly significant that Wayne's wife, Joyce Schaefer, saw the poor condition of the original statue of St. Francis, and then ordered the beautiful carved marble statue of St. Francis with the wolf from Italy that now presides over our lovely memorial garden. And I believe that Francis would be glad to acknowledge that Wayne Robinson knows what rebuilding a church is all about. Wayne heard the call and he responded. Then he called us to join him, and we responded to his call. It takes a community to make meaningful change, and Wayne has always worked to bring people together, just as he did when he helped to form Lee County Coming Together to unite people of multiple faiths in encountering the racial and religious discriminations that exist here. Wayne, we are so proud to call you our friend, our mentor, our guide, and our activist prophet. Seeking justice, speaking truth to power, he did a lot of that, and sharing the love as we join together as each other's keepers. And now I invite Reverend Dr. Wayne Robinson to come forward and share some words with us on this special occasion.
Yeah.
You're on.
Okay.
You're on.
All right. Okay.
Pocket, you can stick it in.
Thank you very much. The a lesson learned regarding my broken hip. I was helping Joyce in the kitchen and slipped on a tomato. Now, I have not yet decided, depends on the day, whether the tomato was to blame or Joyce was to blame for having. And it's so good to see each of you, and you who've been here time and again and heard me. I especially appreciate your being here. And also my special friends. Bruce, He and I came to Fort Myers the same time, and we were at some event, I forget what it was, but regardless, NBC telecast it, and he and I voiced similar opinions, and time after time in the years since, that's been true for us. And he made as Joyce mentioned, made his beautiful synagogue or temple available to us. And so, Bruce, it's so good for you and kind for you. And also, I've never had a Roman Catholic bishop nor a deacon attend my service. And I don't want to just let that pass by. But your being here is very important. And would you stand and let us recognize you? Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Now, since it's a little bit interfaith here, there's a favorite story of mine of three people show up at the pearly gates, and St. Peter welcomes them, and he says, "Excuse me just a moment." And he left and was gone some considerable time, and when he came back, he asked the woman, he said, "Now, did that bother you by being gone?" She said, "Oh, no, not at all. I've looked forward to this for so long. I'm a practicing Muslim, and I love Allah, and I can't wait to meet the Prophet Muhammad, and I didn't mind waiting at all." And said, "Well, I have one more question. How do you spell God?" She swallowed, having experienced while still living in America the ignorance of Westerners who don't know that Allah is simply the Arabic translation for G-O-D, God. Nonetheless, she went ahead and spelled God in Arabic, A-L-L-A. Very good, he said, go right on in. Next, he went outside and he invited the second of the three arrivals, and he said, did you mind waiting? No, not a problem. Besides, I was a practicing Jew all of my life, and I've learned to become patient. And St. Peter then asked if he would write the name of God. He said, "Oh, no. As many of my fellow Jews, we treasure and revere the name of God so much that we do not spell it or write it out so as to preclude its ever being erased." St. Peter said that's good enough and sent him into heaven. Then he went back and invited the third person and asked her if she minded waiting. She said, "Well, as a matter of fact, I did. I'm a Unitarian. And I didn't believe this place really existed. And even if it does, I'm not sure I should be here." St. Peter said, "I'm terribly sorry. Do you mind a brief spelling test before entrance?" She said, "Well, that's fine. But who wrote the test?" And why would you have a spelling test of all things for going into heaven? Besides, surely in heaven, men aren't the only ones in charge. By the way, is this pearly thing handicap accessible? St. Peter shook his head and said, "I understand now why you're our first and only Unitarian." Then he asked the spelling question. How do you spell Czechoslovakia? Like Joyce said, on February 18th, 2001, we met at Gulf Harbor Golf and Country Club for a meeting to determine if there were enough interest in starting a second Unitarian church. And so, knowing that, I remembered there was a story I told that I wanted, and so I finally found it, and I want to repeat it to you. Flannery O'Connor was JFK's favorite novelist, and he tells of a time in Ireland when children would be coming home from school. Sometimes they would take a shortcut through one of the pastures in the field, and when they did, inevitably they would confront one of those ancient stone or rock fences. and the fences were simply too large for children their size to climb over. So what were they to do? They took their hats and caps off and threw them over the wall. That left them no option but to find a way to get over. And the way they found they could get over was not simply by trying harder, but by working together, standing on each other's shoulders, and extending a hand to one another. Alone, the fence was too big, but together they could get over. And on our being here in this community day is proof of our desire and commitment to build a new religious community in Fort Myers. There are challenges ahead, 22 years, but as Green Bay Packers football coach used to say, the future is now. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the privilege of being your minister. Thank you for being willing to take this step together. And I can't wait to see what the future has in store. Thank you very much. I should say it.
Wayne, we love you very, very much. We're so grateful for all that you've done for us, for all the years, the inspiration, the loving care, the compassion. You have been our modern day prophet, and I'm so proud of you. And we are presenting to you today the Flame Keepers Award of 2023 in appreciation for all of your years of service to all faiths. So this is the Flame Keepers Award that we're presenting to you for keeping the flame alive and for rebuilding the church.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to invite our President, Marge DeGalbo, is bringing forward the portrait of Wayne, which we will place in the social hall. So this is a grand and glorious day, and we're so glad that you're all here to share with us on this beautiful occasion of the celebration of 22 fantastic, miraculous years. Thank you so much, Wayne.
I'm going to hang this in the community room.
Okay.
And you will always be with us, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, to sustain us going forward into the future, we invite you to generously participate in our offertory of the day, and we'll be having Joan Marshall singing that magnificent song, The Impossible Dream, which is all about the kind of action that Wayne has demonstrated throughout his life.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this, that one man scorned and covered with scars still tried with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable stars.
That always brings tears to my eyes. Our closing words are fittingly the prayer of St. Francis. Make me an instrument of your peace. Where there's hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. And where there is sadness, joy. Grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is dying to ourselves that we are born to eternal life, or as I usually end it, universal identity and consciousness. And now we will have We Are Family.
And before we begin, one slight change. In your order of service, the words say, my brothers, my sisters, and me. The comma behind my brothers, make that the word and. My brothers and my sisters and me, which is where she's going to sing it. And we're going to sing along that part with her.
Yeah, I hope you're all going to sing out loud, too. Is it now? It's not yet. Okay, get ready.
Here we go, everybody. We are family.
My brothers and my sisters and me. We are family. My brothers and my sisters and
family.
Brothers and my sisters and me.
We are family.
My brothers and my sisters and me.
Everyone can see we're together as we walk on by. And we flock just like birds of a feather. I won't tell no lie. All of the people around me, they say, can they be that close? Just let me state for the record, we're giving us love in a family dose.
We are family.
My brothers and my sisters and me. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We are family.
Get up everybody and sing.
We are family.
My brothers and my sisters and me.
We are family.
Get up, everybody, and sing.
Living life is fun, and we've just begun to get our share of the world's delights. High hopes we have for the future, and our goals in sight. No, we don't get depressed. This is our golden rule. Have faith in you and the things you do, you can't go wrong. This is our family too, and we are family.
I got all my sisters and me. We are family.
Get up, everybody, and sing.
We are family.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My brothers and my sisters and me.
We are family.
Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My
I got all my sisters and me. Everybody and sing. Woo! We are.
Hallelujah.
You didn't know while I was doing that, I was recruiting and auditioning.
Well, that was fun, huh? At this time, I would like to just thank our founding minister, Reverend Wayne Robinson, for being our founding minister. I'd like to thank Joyce Ramay for being our founding president and many, many, many other things over the past 22 years. I would personally like to thank both of them for hiring me almost 14 years ago to be your administrator. Thank you. And of course, we'd like to thank Carlos and Bob Way and Joan Marshall for their music, and Sharon Gray on recording, and Ed on sound at Elrod. And we'd like to thank Joe Gayton, our sexton, and Joyce Schaefer for the beautiful flowers that she always brings for us, and the Spiller family for making our barbecue or cookout happen today. And it is good to be connected and present in whatever way we can. So I'm glad you came with us today. And now as Bob comes to extinguish the chalice, would you please repeat the words that are printed in your order of service? As we extinguish this flame, may we all be grounded in living our values in the coming years. May we all spread our wings to new heights. May the fire of our commitment to our personal, religious, and ethical values burn brighter than before. May we all become more involved in activities of our congregation. And may we all be authentically ourselves in all the years to come. Go now in peace.